Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Simply Colorful FiberCast. Today's date is July 15th, 2016. My name is Lynn Marquidant, and I'm your host. Welcome. We have an hour or 60 minutes to do whatever we want to do when it has having to do with fiber. And I am working on another Dear Jane block. Specifically because it's hot here. It was the hottest day here in Massachusetts since last September, hit in the 90s. For that reason, we're doing Snowflake Melt, H-9 of Dear Jane. So I thought that would be fun to do. It looks like this. Doesn't it look like a snowflake from where you are? It's called Snowflake Melt, and it's another paper piece. It should be relatively easy, and we're just chipping away. I want to show you all of my Dear Jane blocks. For those of you who may be new to Dear Jane, we do this. This is my go-to. When it's been a busy week or we're in the middle of projects, we keep coming back to Dear Jane because Dear Jane is a multi-year project. And specifically, Dear Jane, I'm making a beach version of Dear Jane, and I'll show you the example that I'm following. See that one right there? Every block's different. This is based on the original from 1863. And that Jane Stickle made, and this one was made in Japan in 1994. Anyway, it's my model, and so I have been making Dear Jane blocks for several years now, thanks to Sarah Kokanowski and Joyce Morganelli taught me how to do it. You saw we did that one last week, and I still have not, or a few weeks ago. This is Rebecca's basket, right? I still have to do that, but I wanted to show you a few. Here are a few that we put around the edge of the quilt. And actually, I think my model doesn't have them around the edge. But I'll show you this. See the triangles that go around the edge of the Dear Jane? Those are all different too. So this is a multi-year project, and it's really fun. And I keep track of it in my Dear Jane book. So I put literally the colors that I use, and I make a note like a diary of when we're working on it. So July 15th, 2016, we're going to work on another Dear Jane block. And then, you know, they're all different as you know. And they're going to look fun when they're all together. I'm just using scraps, blue, greens, some beachy colors, and some are much more intricate than others, as you can see. That's a fun one. So once we get back up into the studio, we'll have to do a FiberCast where we put them all up and we can see what we've done and actually how far we still have to go. But here's our pile. That's what we have so far. So let's put that aside. Oh, here's another one. Okay. And I have printed out, like I always do, from my Dear Jane software, my paper piecing pattern. And I literally have two scissors, my paper scissors, and I'm going to cut out my paper pieces. And then the colors I'm using are literally these beachy colors. I pulled these out of the stash before we started. They're just so fun, just so beachy. As always, by the way, now's a good time for me to say, if you're out there, post onto the Simply Colorful Facebook page or on the Google page, or send me email to lmarquidant@gmail.com. lmarquedant@gmail.com. I'd love to see what you're working on. Because FiberCast really is just a way for us to connect every Friday and make progress on our projects. And usually they're fiber related. Dolls, I've branched into dolls. You'll see some of those episodes. But we started in quilts. We always go back to quilts. Last week, as you know, we did braided rugs, a braided rug. And that's coming along nicely. And you can hear the band's back. So Marquet, that is Wayne singing. Okay. Oh, and I know what I wanted to do before we get too far into this. I couldn't go much further without thinking about everyone over in France and what happened in Nice last night. It's horrible. So we're thinking of you all. Just know that we're thinking. Everyone just send your prayers that way, and know that we're here if you need anything. Okay, so let's get back to our dear Jane. My dark is going to be this, but most of it will be this light color. There. When I do my paper piecing, I have a lot of waste. There are much better ways, and in fact, various designers that do paper pieced patterns are really good at telling you exactly what shape of the paper pieced fabric to cut. I just cut it big and then have to cut it down, so it's not the most economical way to use your fabric, just so you know. So what I do is I literally, by the way, I'm trying something different too. See how this is light blue? I'm using the light blue instead of white for the background. So this may be the only block in the quilt that does this. But the white is packed away up in the attic, and like they say, it's 90 plus degrees, and so we're going with this light green, and I think it's actually going to be really a cool addition to the quilt. So what I'm doing first is I'm literally cutting out pieces for each shape that's going to be on this piece. Like this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces, and I've just cut out 3, 4, 5 pieces. So that one's ready to go. Same thing, well, let's cut out I know that one will fit. 1, 2, 3. So that one's done. All the pieces are cut out. And then these are lots of single pieces. So, which is kind of funny. If I had my glue stick, I would literally glue paper on the back here and then cut it out. But instead we'll just draw it. I'll show you how we'll do it. So we have 2 of those, and then we have 4 of these, which, again, look at all this fabric I'm going to use. Cut it in half that way, and then cut it this way. There. Just had a funny thing happen that made me giggle. See, so we have all 4 there. Before we started up FiberCast just now, I had black thread on my machine, so I wanted to change it to a light green because that's what we're using. And I also had 3 minutes before showtime. So, and I didn't have a bobbin, so I had to wind my bobbin. And I hadn't prepared and found out what happened in history this day. So I literally had the machine going with the bobbin. I had the iPad here that I was reading. So I was looking down here, looking this way. My mother's here to visit because we're going up to Vermont for a wedding tomorrow. And I look over, and who's right there but my mother? I was oblivious to the whole thing. I would have, I mean, I wasn't even looking at the machine. My bobbin practically overflowed, but we caught it in time, and I know what happened in history today, which I forgot to tell everyone about last week, so I should just get to it right away. Did you know in 1869, so almost 150 years ago, margarine was patented in France by Hippolyte Marie-Maurice. You want to know something else that's kind of weird? It's kind of scary. The internet is serving me up ads for diamond rings because I have a prong on my ring that needs repair, and I went on here a few days ago and I was searching, and now everywhere I go, it keeps serving up diamond rings. They're lovely, but isn't that something? Ugh. Okay. In 2010, after 86 days of gushing oil into the Gulf of Mexico and several previous attempts to contain the flow, British Petroleum capped its leaking oil well. Remember that? 2010, about 6 years ago, off the Gulf of Mexico. They kept trying to cap it, and trying to find the leak. And they finally had capped it off. Anywho, let's see, what else? Those aren't very fiber related, are they? Let's see. On this day, according to the New York Times, let's check that out. Some FiberCasts we do more reading than we do sewing, huh? It's coming. Then I want to get to you all. The internet seems quite slow, so I'm going to leave it there. It's going to come up. What happened on this day? Huh! The New York Times blog is... I'm getting hung up on the New York Times blog. Hang on. All right, well, let's just go back to our paper piecing. And this one is nice. It's numbered, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm literally going to follow it. There's 1. Here's 2. I'm going to put my stitch count down to 1.5. And again, the reason for putting your stitch count down when you're doing paper piecing is so that it tears away easily. Your needle acts almost like a serrated knife on the paper. So here we go. My machine's running well. I like that. And then cut that, and then finger press it over. So tomorrow we're going to a wedding. It's a 3 o'clock wedding up in Milton, Vermont. I can't wait. It is my cousin's daughter's wedding, and we are going to see aunts that we haven't seen in a long time, and cousins. Like I say, my mom is already here. She, Bob, and I will jump in the car first thing tomorrow with our coffee. And we'll drive up and hopefully get there in time to get ready in the hotel before we head over to the wedding. If not, we'll be in some gas station bathroom changing our clothes. I'm kidding. Hello? It would work in a pinch, wouldn't it? Okay. So it's looking pretty. Now it's number 4 here. And then we either have to get on the road on Sunday to get back here in time to watch NASCAR, or find it in New Hampshire, because I think it's somewhere in New Hampshire. We looked at it a few weeks ago. Most likely, though, the wedding will be plenty enough excitement for us for 1 week, and we'll be home. It's pretty. Okay. Oh, this is going to be an easy one. Famous last words, I know. And I have a second one that I can do if we have time. So who's out there? Who's having a birthday? Anyone having a birthday sometime soon? By the name of Chris, maybe? Maybe, sort of? Okay. There we go. All right. So there is the first piece, and I'm going to cut on the back. I'm going to cut it out so that we can see what we're working with. And, you know, this is such a scrappy quilt that I'm not even going to worry about ironing it. It can be fussy. I mean, I wouldn't, if you have an iron right next to you, I definitely would iron it at this point. But again, here in this temporary studio, this will be fine. It really does work fine. So there is the first piece. Okay. Oh, there's applique on this one too. In fact, I'll show you what it's going to look like. Gee, I think I'd never done a diamond before. I really haven't. Oh. Not on this small scale. I want to show you this. Baby. Can you hear the music? So this snowball melt, believe it or not, is going to have a couple of little applique pieces. Pin that. What I probably will do is not get to the applique tonight. I find that I get a couple of these done, and then if I'm on a trip or something, I'll just pull all of them that need appliquing and just do them all at once. So there's the first one. Okay, let's do this. Before I do the second one, though, let's see who's out there. There was an email here that I wanted to, oh, here it is. Elise, if you're out there, last week I got so busy talking about Elise's rug that I didn't share with everyone the needle point she's doing. Isn't that nice? It looks like it's hand-drawn and colored. That is just beautiful. I can't wait to see how that progresses. Keep us posted. And Juliana, if you're out there, show us what you're working on. Hey, Wendy. Hi, Wendy. She says, FiberCast, hello to Lynn and everyone. Oh, Wendy. Awesome. I'm actually watching live. I can't believe it. I know you're always on the road with your boys or your girls, weddings, golf, the whole bit. I'm so glad you're there. She says, I can't believe it. We have had such a massive couple of months, but seems to be settling down, she says. We've even had some wintry weather with 75 milliliters of rain, which is very strange for us here in North Queensland. Really? And it's rain, not snow? I know you're in winter. Hope you had a lovely birthday this week and did something special. I did. Bob took me out to eat, and then he even took me to the Dairy Queen. It was very nice and such a surprise. Aw, Wendy says, my husband's is tomorrow the 17th. Aw. I have been still keeping up with fiber stuff, crocheting my son Adam's monster chevron blanket, and I also started Missouri Star's Starburst wall hanging. Here is some of my progress. Anyway, have a great weekend, Lynn, with your family. Cheers, Wendy. Thank you, Wendy. And now I can't wait to share your picture with everyone. That is a massive crocheted Afghan. I love it. Look at that. Doesn't it look like waves on the screen? Ooh, I want to make one of those. I really do. I like that. Oh, and here is your starburst. And that's Missouri Star Quilt Companies. They must have a trick to do that, right? Lovely. I'm so glad you're out there, Wendy. DJ, yeah, says Bobby Paland. Hi. DJ says, or Bobby says, working on my DJ, I'm so excited. I have A1 through A3 done and now working on A4. Way to go. I want to show people. I'm doing them in order. I love this. I wish I had the stick-to-itness. That is great. She's doing them in order. Hope to get them finished before I turn 100 in 52 more years. That's funny. Me too. Okay, she says, as always, I enjoy FiberCast, and I'm always so excited when Friday arrives. Love ya, Bobby, in Northeast North Carolina, NENC. Aw, that's very nice, and I love that you're doing these in order. So for those of you who may not know, the blocks of Dear Jane are numbered and lettered. So it goes across the rows, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Down goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So the very corner up here is A1. Then it goes A2, A3, A4. So Bobby is literally starting with, let me see if I've done, A1 is the pinwheel. A2 is 1, 2, buckle my shoe. I wonder if I've done A1 and 2. I've done A1 and 2. Oh, and I've done 3 and 4. Hunter's Moon and Courtney's Stethoscope. Just for kicks, let's see if we can find them. And then you can see what you're making. I know you can see it already. And it may take too long. So here's where the colors will help us. So I'm looking for these blues. The band sounds good tonight. Well, maybe I'm going to find you one. How's that? Oh, here we go. Here's A2. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. Does that look familiar? So you've done that one already. That's awesome. Let's see if I can find A1. Look at this one. Look at all those little squares. This one's A12. You'll be there by the end of the weekend. Oh, here we go. A1. So A1, A2. Very good. Well, I love that you're down there in North Carolina. And you know, we are hot up here. I hope you're not as hot down there now. I'm so glad you're there, too. Colleen, hi. Colleen says, today I'm looking forward to watching after I return from dinner. Well, I hope you've had a good dinner. My husband is taking me out to a Thai restaurant, so I'll watch you later on on a full happy belly. Aww. Hi to you, Lynn, and all your Fibercasters worldwide. How cool for you, friends around the globe. Colleen on the warm left coast of the USA. Isn't that the truth? It warms my heart. Thank you. It really does. I am lucky. We are all lucky to be able to have something that jazzes us, that we can look forward to doing. Okay, so here's my second one. And I'm literally going to, again, use the lights here in the studio to be able to see through my paper pattern and line up my fabric on the back so I know where to sew. So piece 1, piece 2. Oh, Bobby, I love that you're doing Dear Jane. Sue Norton is cranking on Dear Jane. And you should see the pictures of her gardens. I don't know where she has time, and she works full time. Okay, here's that and that. Now we'll do this. Okay. So I'm curious, who does more, whether you do more quilting in the spring, summer, winter, or fall? Just curious. When we were talking with a quilt store owner this winter, I remember her saying, when we were with Jean and Chris and Kelsey, she made some comment about there was 1 week during the spring planting season when she saw all of the sales just go here in the Northeast because all of us were outside planting our plants. And for me, that's probably true. Although FiberCast, like I have said before, it has kept me going all year long. So thank you for that. Because it really is amazing what we can do in just 60 minutes a week. And granted, we all work more on our projects outside of FiberCast, but there's nothing like having a deadline, having a regular check-in, right? For all sorts of things. Ooh, and there are bugs. They're drawn to the light. So I'm wearing blue to the wedding. And I've had the shirt for a long time, and I did find a blue skirt to go with it. And I'm wearing sandals because it's going to be hot in northern Vermont tomorrow. So I'm wearing sandals with open toes. So I went to I got my toes painted today, and I got them painted blue. Doesn't it sound colorful? I'm quite excited about it. I hope that I don't wuss out. It's easy to walk around with blue toenails in your own home. I hope I have guts enough to do it with strangers. I'm also curious, now that we're talking about nail polish, who uses gel nail polish versus regular nail polish? I have not crossed over. I don't know why, or why I should or why I shouldn't. And I don't do my nails because I'm always digging in the dirt or working in the fiber. I should, but I don't have time. Oh, here. I think I just learned how to make a diamond. These are little diamonds, though. Oh, okay, so I'll put those on in a minute. I'm going to cut it again. Right, so there's my second piece. And I finger pressed it. Jane Stickle must have been very focused. Well, you can't, I guess we're all focused. Those of us who are crazy enough to cut fabric up and sew it back together. But can you imagine the conditions that she must have been working on with these little pieces in 1863? She was from Vermont. The original quilt, as we've said before, is up in Bennington. I've never seen it live. I know some of you have. I've seen you in front of it with pictures. Okay, so there's that. So we have two parts of the melted snowflake. Now, it's time to literally sew them together. There. Okay, so I've moved the pins away from my seams. Paper piecing is such a great method for getting very exacting piecing done. And hopefully, when I open this up, I'll show you an example. Well, first off, I caught my applique piece in it. See this little piece of applique? I caught it in the seam, so that's not good. Okay, so I'm going to pull that out. And then I didn't sew evenly. I didn't line up the seams right. So I know you probably can't see the middle of that pinwheel, but it's not perfect. So we have to rip it out. If I had my rotary cutter, I'd use the blade to cut that out. Sometimes you can literally use the edge of your scissor. Let's try these scissors. Where are my mother's good scissors when I need them? Oh, that's right. My sister. That was so funny. So many of you wrote to me and said, you know, my mother used to have a pair of good scissors and my sister never took them, or I was always the one who didn't take them, but my sister was always taking them. And then you heard my sister write and say that's why she was my mother's favorite, because she never took those scissors. Remember last week I was talking about the Notions wall at Joann Fabrics being on sale? Well, don't you know I drove all the way over there last Sunday because I needed pins. I needed big safety pins like that for the rug. I was doing a butt seam and I needed them and I didn't have any. It was a good excuse to go over to Joann's, and I thought, oh, and I'll get some Notions. I'm almost out of my sewing machine needles, yada, yada, yada. Get over there. Of course, the Notions wall doesn't go on sale until Monday. But that's okay. I still had fun. And it was air conditioned. Okay, almost done, and then I'm going to redo this so you can see that I can make, I'll show you where I made a mistake. I forgot to use a pin to line up the lines on both sides. Okay. On the back of each of these pieced paper pieces, there's actually a line, a sewing line that you're supposed to sew on. And there's a line here. When you put it together, and this is the mistake I made, I didn't use a pin to line up the lines. So if you use a pin and I go down literally right at the point of the line and all four of those pieces on this one, and then I go and I put the pin right in the same spot over here, that lines up the lines. And I didn't do that the first time around because I was being omni-sewer. Now, I leave that stuck straight up so that it doesn't shift, and then I'm going to pin through all the layers. And that should, actually, you know what? I'm going to do it on each end too. So literally the corner here, align it to the corner there. And then when you pull it all tight like that, then you know that you're going to be good. It became so quiet downstairs. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to pull that out because I already pinned. And then when I sew, I'm literally going to sew 1 thread's width length to the right of my line. Okay, fingers crossed. Better. Better, better. Do you see the pinwheel? Okay, now the only casualty we had was this little diamond here. And then we'll do that right in. So we are moving forward on our melted snowflake. Let's see who else is out there. I think I heard some messages come in. As always, if you're out there, and I think I mentioned this, send email to lmarquidant@gmail.com. Oh, and look at this. Oh, Jean. Hi, Jean. Jean writes in and she says, "Happy birthday, cast." Thank you. "I'm not sewing tonight, but I'm working on writing the companion piece to the 300th quilt." Wow. So as everyone might remember, Jean and a group of sewers from Hopkinton made a Hopkinton quilt, and I know you can't see that very well, that is now hanging in the Historical Society, or at least it's been previewed there. I got to see it previewed. And the center of it has this sewn, believe it or not, that's all made out of fabric. That's the Hopkinton map, and they have identified where things are, and then all around it are pictures. It's really a masterpiece. So Jean, I cannot wait to see that unveiling. She says, "The map is done, the background is almost ready for it, and we are on track to debut it at the Marathon Quilters Quilt Show in September." That's great. Cannot wait for that. That's September 18th, I believe. Who's this? Hi, Lynn and everyone. Oh, this is KB. "Bob and I send our love from Church Street in Burlington, Vermont. Thinking of you and see you soon." Oh, hi. How is Church Street? That's excellent. Oh, to be up there again. That was fun. Do you know, speaking of that, 30 years ago, I was at another wedding. 30 years ago on the 12th of July, I was at another wedding up in Derby, Vermont. Jean, Lorraine and Steve got married, and they sent me a picture from 30 years ago. You've got to see this. It's classic. big boofy hair, you know. If so this is going to be hard to see. But check out the blue dresses. Aren't those classic 80s? Oh, man. Anywho, how do we get on that subject? Hi, KB and Bob. See you tomorrow. Hope I've gotten everyone. Ooh, some of the crew are going to the Boston Modern Quilt Guild. Have fun, everyone. I think that's what I'm seeing. Okay, let's finish this up. Because things don't get done when I'm just talking or reading. All right, so now what I need to do is get my paper scissors out. This is where I am going to draw no, I'm not. I'm going to put two pieces together, and I'm literally going to cut out my shape with my good scissors. Those are my good scissors. They're kind of good. They're not great. We'll just keep holding that in place. Well, this is a good summer weekend to just keep plugging away on whatever you have going on, whether it's an Afghan or some embroidery or a project that maybe is 80% done. Finish it up so that come fall, you can dive into something new for the holidays. Or come spring for Wendy and Allie and everyone. Speaking of which, Allie down under, happy birthday to you. I think we have the same birthday. Yeah, I challenge everyone to keep working, keep trying to finish up projects that either you committed to or that you want to finish up before starting something new. Okay, so there are the two edge pieces to round that out. Okay, and then now we have 4 of these, but I'm only going to cut 2 at a time. Dear Jane is a good thing. I mean, I love it because, like I say, it's something I can keep going back to, and I feel very accomplished when I do a block. It's not huge, but you feel accomplished just by chugging along, and someday we're going to wake up and it's going to be done. Something on my fabric. Okay, and you know what? I just want to make sure that we have this. Huh. No, I didn't. I wasn't going to do it right. Okay. What I need to do is just square this off. And I don't even have a rotary cutter. Don't do this at home. Yeah, that's straight enough. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm turning it over and I'm going to use the drawn side the drawn line on this paper piece. We're getting there. There's that. My old Kenmore here is working just fine tonight. I love that. So, I know that looks crazy. Now what I'm going to do is do the other two. And then I square it up. And that's where I may not do that tonight because I want to iron it. And use my rotary cutter. But I'll give you a feel for what it looks like. You'll get a feel. Yay! Oh, I've made a mess here, haven't I? One more, and then we'll have to write in our diary. Well, we may have to write about Nice, France. And the heat. What else would we write about? Oh, and my niece, who is in Alaska, she arrived in Cordova earlier this week. She's gone up there to work at the salmon hatchery. So that is very exciting. And the pictures that she has posted so far are beautiful. All right. So, believe it or not, that's as far as I'm going to go tonight on this particular block because I need to do the hand sewing of the diamonds, and I also then want to press it, and then I'll use this and I'll square it up to be our, is it 5 or 5.5? Whatever size these squares are. So I'll do that. So let's put that aside. Oh, we have to write this down. Hang on. Don't go anywhere. Okay, so it is July 15th, 2016. 90 plus degrees here in Hopkinton today. Did this block on FiberCast. Bobby was working on A1, A2, A3, and A4, going in a row. Such discipline. That's the word I was looking for earlier. Way to go, Bobby. And thought about the deaths in Nice. So unnecessary. And I want to say evil, but it's just so sad. Okay, what else? Oh, and going to Kirsten. I know everyone here, that doesn't matter, but at least this way I'll keep in track. Going to Kirsten and Justin's wedding tomorrow. Period. All right. And I will glue some fabric in there when I get back in my studio and I have access to my glue stick. So we'll put that in this little piece. There we go. Well, let's see. Let me make sure I caught everyone who's out there. I love it when you tune in. Thank you for tuning in, by the way, and thank you for always telling me what you're working on. Oh. Oh my goodness. Well, our internet must have been stalled. I'm so glad you're out there. Oh, Dawn Stewart, Mystery Quilt. She says, she votes for Scrappy. Well, that's good to know, Dawn. She says, while I'm thinking about it, you asked for suggestions regarding the Mystery Quilt. She says, I'm looking to bust my stash, so something fun and scrappy is excellent. Enjoy a terrific weekend. Dawn, you're on. That's 1 vote for Scrappy. 2 votes, because I like Scrappy too. Rita in Montana. Hi, Rita. Rita says, I'm here working, oh, neat, on a 1940s block that came out in Women's Day magazine in celebration of getting my vintage Singer 128 running, pictured here. It was made in the 40s with a wrinkle finish, and his name is Godzilla. Oh, that's fabulous. She says, I'm loving FiberCast. Rita from Montana. Oh, Rita, that is excellent. Look at that block, too, from the 1940s. Ha ha ha. You said Godzilla. Godzilla. Love it. Look at that. Beautiful. Why, Mary Beth, our flying pecan down in San Antonio, or do you say pecan? She says, hi, Lynn and everyone. I enjoyed watching you make the dolls, and I know if I ever started making them, I would make fairy dolls. Totally. And they would be all over my house. I have the 5 Michael Miller Flower Fairies panels collection that I plan to quilt for wall hangings. I love that collection. Those are very cute. So I can change them out for each season, and the extra one will be just to look at because it makes me happy. She says, thank you again for FiberCast and sharing your talents with us. Have a great weekend, Mary Beth. Aww. And she titled it Flower Fairies. That would be really fun. And you know what? You can buy the flowers, silk flowers or artificial flowers, and you can take them apart, and then the petals can form skirts on your fairies. That's very fun. Very fun. There's a book, Sally Maver, called We Folks, and she makes some really cute fairies that are only like that tall. And I've been discovering on Pinterest, search for fairies or search for dolls, and you see just these amazing creations. That would be fun. But there's only so much we can do, right? Hey, ding! Hi, Maureen in PA. She says, if there was no TV, computer, and phone, I would be crafting away 8 hours a day. Isn't that the truth? But seriously, put your computer or your TV or your phone in front of your sewing machine and do both. You can listen, you can watch, because I'm with you. And yeah, it'll keep you company. That's what this is really all about. Hi, Desert Rose. Hi, Ann McKenzie. So happy to join you live, she says. I'm getting my Bernina set up to use next week at an AccuQuilt class. Making sure it works and getting my bendable light attached. Oh, Ann, that sounds wonderful. Have fun next week and enjoy that Bernina. That sounds really fun. And that sounds like a gift or a treat that you're really going to enjoy. Joanna says, haven't caught you for a while. Glad to catch you tonight. Well, I am too. Welcome back. It's dinner time here on the West Coast, so not sure if I can stick around the whole time. I think I will sew later as I'm cooking now, says Joanna in Oregon. And she says, thanks for FiberCast. Well, thanks for tuning in. I hope you had a good dinner. And that is the quandary. You know, I know it's only 5 o'clock on the West Coast when we start FiberCast, and I have thought of doing something on Sundays. We'll see. One step at a time, right? Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern is working okay. We'll keep it at that for now. Lorna. Hi, Lorna. I feel like I haven't talked to you forever. Lorna says, hello to all the FiberCasters. It's been such a long time since I've been able to watch you live. This is a great night. So excited to see you live, my only Friday this month. Next week, I head to Carlsbad State Beach to camp. I'm so looking forward to it. Oh, that sounds great. She says, have fun at the wedding. Take care, Lorna. Oh, have a blast. Wow. I know, this is the time. Summer's the time to go see it. Oh, and Maggie's out there. Oh, my goodness. I love how we're wrapping up FiberCast this week with all of you writing in. Thank you. Maggie says, hi, Lynn, trying to watch you. Oh, but my internet keeps going in and out. Must be the heat. Ah, NASCAR is in Loudon near Concord. Thank you. I've been working on flag pennants for a decoration for my daughter's bridal shower in a couple of weeks. Oh, that's fun. I've seen that. My friend Karen Bronson made flags for underneath a big tent for a wedding, and they looked great. They looked very, I want to say 1950s-y, but just very festive. That's great. Maggie says, I hope to get back to Dear Jane soon. You will. You will. Please. She says, stay cool. Oh, and I decided to try my hand at making a primitive doll. You inspired me, Maggie in New Hampshire. Oh, I'm glad. Oh, do send us a picture. Let us know how you made it. When you say primitive doll, is it like a scarecrow? Is it like an old-fashioned doll? Oh, I can't wait to get back to my dolls. That sounds kind of funny. Anywho, Maggie, I'm so glad you're out there. And one final hello to Sheila. Hi, Sheila. I hope I've caught everyone. If not, I apologize. Sheila says, I'm going to watch live tonight. She says, hi, Lynn. Boy, is it hot here in Tennessee. Ooh, I bet it is. Finally getting a chance to watch live. By the way, I love your braided rug. Please show us how far you've gotten since last week. Thanks for having FiberCast, Sheila in Tennessee. Well, all right. I can do that. Can you see this? This is how far I've gotten. It's kind of hard to hold up. That's how far I've gotten. I've worked on it every night. I think it's my first and last braided rug. But thanks for asking. And I'm going to keep going probably, well, it depends. It does use a tremendous amount of wool. Remember I said a 9 by 12, according to this woman, Maggie, down in Connecticut. A 9 by 12 oval rug will take 132 garments. And I believe it because, check this out. This is all I got from a skirt. One whole skirt just resulted in those 2 sets of rolls, and that won't even go around this halfway, maybe 3/4. So anyway, it's a learning experience. That's how far I've gotten. Everyone should try it. Definitely, it's easy. It's just, you know, I don't know. It doesn't jazz me as much, although I like to see it finished. But I'm not enjoying it as much as, say, crochet or something else. Anywho, That's not how I want to end FiberCast. I want to thank you all for joining me. We made a snowflake, Dear Jane. That will look nice when it's ironed and cut up. We wrote in our diary. We learned that margarine was patented almost 150 years ago in France. We sent out prayers to everyone in Nice, to the families and those that have died, and we heard the band downstairs. And with that, have a great weekend. Be creative, everyone. Bye. See you here next Friday night, 8 p.m.